Now.
Done. I did it. Did it now. That was a Rick and Morty reference.
So how is everybody? How's everyone doing?
Hey everyone,
Good.
welcome to another crazy virtual star party. This is gonna be a weird one, I think. Mostly because the people who are joining me in this week's star party. But so we've got so I'm up here in the corner here. We can probably go a little bigger here. We've got Corey Schmitz, who is broadcasting Saturn right now, and you're actually recording data, right, Corey?
Not at the moment, but I'm going to do in a couple of moments.
Let me see if I can actually make you bigger. I can. Okay, cool.
Yeah, of course you can. You have control.
Well, do I? And then if I turn that back off, now how do I view your screen again? Oh, switch to the share. Okay, awesome. All right. And then we got Dave Dickinson. Hey, David.
Hey there, here in Norfolk with my family of telescopes off to the side. I'm going to be -1. I have to send the Stellina back this week. So
yeah, you're. Are you going to miss it?
it was kind of fun to use. It's a fun toy to play with. I don't know if I would buy one for myself at the current price point, but to have one to play with was kind of interesting. I mean, you could doing deep sky from downtown Norfolk is virtually impossible, but this could do. I was able to do some deep sky imaging from one of the arguably most light polluted places on the East Coast. So that alone was kind of impressive.
Yeah, you took over our Instagram account for the day and shared a bunch of the pictures that you took, and they were nice. I mean, it definitely for what you took from, as you say, downtown Norfolk. Pretty impressive.
These were just kind of the raw off the camera JPEG stacks. Kind of they weren't astronomy picture of the day quality, but they were just from shooting from downtown from the top of the parking garage, which is pretty much where I'm restricted to right now with the quarantine. So was to haul it up in the elevator up to the roof. But, it's fun to play with.
Also from the other side of the planet, we've got Dylan O'Donnell. Hey, Dylan.
Hey, how are you, Fraser? I'm doing well over here, but it's sunny, of course, so I won't be bringing you any of my sky views, just my bubbly personality.
Yeah. I mean, you and I can also see in the background that the sky looks a little cloudy.
Yeah, I have a telescope delivery on the way, so it's raining all week.
Right. Oh man, it's gonna happen every single time. Interesting. Okay, still learning the nuances of this new setup. Trying to do this with Zoom. Do you have a solar setup at all?
I do. I have a little lunt. Presume it's the Coronado. Sorry, the same one in the background of David Dickinson's image just there. It's a nice little personal solar telescope. Very easy. Not hugely dramatic views, but good if there's a nice big prominence coming off the side or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I have out on the sidewalk almost every day, just like taking a look. So there was a problem the other day. It was a nice one.
Are there much sunspots right now on the sun?
No, we're at solar minimum right now. The sun is actually like really boring to look at. But once in a while in hydrogen alpha, you do get it's always worth checking every day around lunch just to see. Yeah. Sometimes things just pop up. So.
And we've got Chris Elliott. Hey, Chris. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Fraser.
Chris.
Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's funny. Everybody has been involved in this project many years ago. Oh, I'm gonna have to keep doing this. Oh, this is killing me. Okay, many years ago, and it's awesome to sort of reconnect. So for all the people who participated in the star parties back in the day, assuming you still, you're not sick of astronomy, anticipate that we're going to come looking for you to try to rope you in again. But
this is a bit of a nostalgic moment, actually, because this was a big thing back when I started doing astronomy, and I really didn't know what I was doing. So it was a buzz to jump onto the virtual star parties and have a look at what was going on.
And and the thing that sort of tore the whole thing apart last time, and we're gonna go through this again this time around, is just the reality that we are dealing with weather around the world and people's individual, and it's nighttime. For some of you, I think you're getting a little sleepy, and then of course for others, daytime clouds, your gear is in. So like my situation, I've got access to this amazing camera in Landers, California, and I will be opening the telescope shortly, but I'm kind of afraid. Right now, the wind speed is 27 kilometers per hour.
Oosh.
Yeah, 22 now. It's 22. So when we get under 20, I'll probably open the top, and then I'll go through the process of focusing on the telescope. There's a little bit of light still there, so it hasn't gotten completely dark in the Landers. But thanks to Corey, we can start, because Corey has already been streaming for quite a while. So, Corey, I don't even know what I'm looking at here. What is this?
This is Mars.
Mars. Okay, I was wondering.
And then you can't see. You can see these little red dots. Those are actually the moons of Pluto that you can see around Mars.
Right.
It's really weird that they're so close, but it's space is strange these days. Now this is Saturn. This is the blue channel, and right now it's Saturn. I did a whole bunch of imaging of Jupiter earlier because the seeing conditions were really good, and they're actually still quite good. You can see the Cassini division fine. You can see the shadow, which is getting smaller and smaller as we approach opposition on Saturn, which is cool because that's going to go away during opposition and then come out the other side. But what's really telling me about the seeing conditions being good is the fact that, so there's this bright band, this bright cloud band on Saturn that you can see in this live grainy image. But you can also see this dark contrast just north of it, and then a little bit of contrast between that and these other cloud areas, which I can almost never see. So the fact that I can see that in this crappy live view, non-stacked thing, is actually telling me that there are moments of really good seeing happening right now.
You can see it pop out, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so if you can see that, the Cassini division I can always see. Like even in bad seeing, I can see the Cassini division. So I think I've kind of bumped the resolution of this thing up. I'm running almost as 5,700-ish millimeters of focal length. And so like I've had to go from, okay, well, can I see these, gaps between the planet and the rings? Yes. Can I see the Cassini division? Yes. Well, now I'm looking at planet features. So
I do have some Saturn news to share. Obviously, we're not at opposition yet. We can see a bit of shadow along one side of Saturn there. We're still at pretty good tilt, though, so the rings are really tilted towards us. When we come into opposition, we'll see the opposition surge, where the rings will kind of light up as the sunlight's reflected back to us. But 2 weeks ago, an Australian astronomer called Andy Casely, with a DIY telescope, discovered a new polar storm in the north there of Saturn. So perhaps when you get these images stacked, Corey, do look out for a small white bump on the planet. We were talking just the other day about how it's often more fun to image Jupiter because Jupiter is so dynamic and there's so much going on all the time and so many different storms. And Saturn is pretty, but pretty dull most of the time. It's in terms of dynamism. But we do see a new northern polar storm as of 2 weeks ago. So keep your eye out for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will. I've also I've been submitting my images to the Alpo Japan and PVOL, which are databases that planetary scientists use often, because the thing is, people always think that the scientists are always basically looking at everything in the sky, but there's so many things that they're not able to. So they actually depend on amateurs like myself and well, maybe not me yet, but other people who are better at this, to submit our images to these scientific databases, and I've been doing that, and they're talking on those forums in those areas that storm has popped up, and so they are interested in that now. So
yeah, the amateurs almost have like worldwide coverage now, just watching these things to if there's an impact or anything, a storm pops up or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's interesting to see because they've been looking at flecks that have come off the Jupiter Great Red Spot, and they go back in history of the images basically. So even if it's a bad image, they want to see it because then they can go back and see like, oh well, this pixel looks like it started back in whatever month, so they look back and especially if there's impacts also, because you can run through your videos through software. I think it's made in France that it's free, and you can run your videos through it, and it basically it looks for bright spots that could be meteor impacts on Jupiter specifically. So it
will do that for the moon too. I can't remember the name of the software. I have run it for lunar impacts, like on the dark side of the moon. Or the
software, if it's the same software as for the planetary, it's just called Detect.
Yeah, it'll just scan through your video looking for certain signature flashes and things like that.
Yeah, and I've got an old computer sitting here like waiting for me to have time to actually set that up, because I've got images from the last few years that I haven't done anything with, videos that I want to delete them. So the first thing I need to do is actually run them through that to make sure that they're safe to delete, and then I'll go from there. So I've done a full imaging run now. I've done LRGB, and I'm going to go back through and start over and do another one, because I'm going to do multiples of these and then derotate them in WinJupos.
Your tracking's pretty rock solid because that's only like maybe an arc minute or two across.
Cheating a little because I'm using the auto align, but it is.
Yeah, look for the red dots and see how those are jumping around. That's the tracking there.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Still, that's down sub arc minute, like arc second, like it's not jumping that far.
It actually is good though. I've spent quite a bit of time polar aligning because man, it's a lot easier on these planets if it's polar aligned properly.
Yeah.
The less you have to mess with during the imaging session is the more you can concentrate on things like focus and the important.
And you auto guide on the planet as well, do you, Corey?
I do not. I manually guide with these fancy slew controls if I need to move.
Right.
Okay.
Wow, something just took a dive. That was anyway. See, I've got to do a slight adjustment here, but I don't have to adjust it very often anymore.
It's probably too dim to catch any of the moons. So you probably have to blow out Saturn to get the.
Yeah.
I do, but I can do that. Well,
exposure.
It'll like pull out like some of the closer in. I think there's 5, or I know Titan's not too hard. Then there's about 5 or 6 that are easy to pick out.
Okay, there's one.
Okay.
They're really good. There's one here.
I do see.
Kind of see. There's one here.
Titan's probably out of the frame.
Might be,
Yeah. Most of them orbit in the ring plane, so they're tilted with the. I think it's Iapetus is one that's not in the ring plane, but most of them are. That's what's ironic from the moons. You would see the rings edge on most of the time.
Yeah. Let me switch over to my silly guide cam view if it's. Okay, good. It's still going. I'll do a zoom in on this.
I saw one guy take a view like this, a wide field view with it really blown out, and he animated it over several hours. And it was really compelling to see the rotation of the moons around the planet. Really, really good thing that you don't see very often.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
There's so many stars in this area where Saturn is right now. I'm not sure which is moons and which is stars because
it's hard to tell because you can't even see where the rings are. So
I'm guessing this might be a moon.
That might be Titan closer in Titan.
Slam RN is asking, have we seen any Starlinks?
Not here.
There's a launch Tuesday. They're doing another set. I think this one actually is launching 3 in the morning here, so I might be, if it's clear on the rooftop, If they come up the East Coast, we might see the initial, there'll be pre-deployment, but we have seen Cape launches come up past Norfolk before, if they're coming up and hitting the sun just right. Starliner, we saw that when it launched from the Cape coming up by, it came right up the East Coast. So there's another batch going up.
Yeah, I haven't seen any down here, but it's really those launches that are scaring people when you see the big trains going past. Once
looks
they're
really
up in their
eerie.
orbits, it's much less dramatic. And I believe the intended orbits will be that anywhere on Earth you'll see maybe 3 at a time. So that doesn't seem too bad.
No, I've caught several Starlink trains shortly after launch, and they are really eerie to see because it's just a train of like Morse code dots in the sky. We saw one the other night when I was on the roof here that's from a later launch, but you could still see them about second magnitude. They were about 10 degrees spaced apart. And I didn't even realize it was a pass till we started watching, and I knew what it was once I saw it. But they're becoming very common to see now.
Hey, you guys, can I ask a favor?
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask everyone around the world to say where you're from and give a shout out to a 7-year-old kid who's watching named Luke?
Hey, Luke, my name is Dylan O'Donnell. I'm from Australia.
Hey, Luke, I'm here in Norfolk, Virginia.
Luke, I'm on Vancouver Island, Canada.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay. I just want to make sure because I didn't see a green thing. My name is Chris, and Luke, I am from Niagara Falls, New York.
Nice. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I was asked to do a shout out for the 7-year-old, and it was just really cool to get the kids involved because the more inspiration we can provide is awesome.
That's awesome. So Corey, I'm gonna share for the people who are seeing this picture right now. I think it's important to understand that this is not what the final image is going to look like. You're taking data for astrophotography that you're going to do the imaging on later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the pictures that you took last. Let me see if I can find it here. I'm going to share the pictures that you took last week because they are they're very impressive. And so for everybody who was here, last week, we'll show you what the result was, and so people can understand just sort of how Corey rolls.
How I roll.
Yeah.
Yes, I think a lot of people don't realize when they see these kind of with the turbulence and in the raw images that they don't realize that's the sausage being made kind of.
Yeah. This is super ugly, and that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want.
You have to be able to see the beauty through the ugly,
Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody can, but I'm going to share what the final result looks like. So hopefully people can see. Corey was doing this last week, and this was the picture. This is the result of the picture.
It was pretty bad seeing too, if you remember.
So you think the seeing this week is better than what you saw, what you had last week?
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. Mm-hmm. Way better.
But it really does seem like magic, doesn't it?
It does.
It is. I've got some new tricks that I've recently learned too that I'm going to try and employ. So we'll see, how that works.
Yeah.
But
if you look at it carefully, you can see it like every millisecond. You could see it's super sharp.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing. That's what a lot of people say. Like, well, how do you take? Is that a photo of Saturn? It's like, well, what we actually do is we take video, and then we have software, that goes through every single raw frame of video and finds only the sharpest ones, and then we'll throw away everything else, and then it will average out and stack all the other frames on top, all the good frames on top of each other, and get rid of everything else. And I'm actually trying to image at the same time as I'm talking. And it basically, it's called lucky imaging. So we're literally getting lucky on which frames we shoot. We just shoot so many so fast. Like right now I'm shooting about 75 frames per second. I'm shooting at an exposure time of 25 milliseconds on the blue channel of Saturn. Every single color channel is a different frame rate, is a different gain on the camera, everything is a little bit different. And It's a lot different than taking deep sky images of nebula and star clusters and galaxies and everything. So like Dylan and I were talking about on my stream a few days ago, like planetary imaging is a whole nother animal. I've been struggling with it, I swear, since 2012 when I started this. And struggling meaning I think it's more frustrating than anything. DSO is easy in comparison. Because
come on now.
in comparison, only because you can do DSO on a night where the seeing is poor. As long as you have a clear sky, you can get an image of a star cluster, you know, as long as it's clear and transparent. But the DSOs, they don't care about the jet stream so much.
They're not rotating every 4 hours.
Yeah, they don't move, you know. It's the same principle, but the thing is, like, you're a slave with the planetary. You're a slave to the atmosphere, which
it's also it's probably important to note that what Corey's doing here with Lucky Imaging, selecting the best frames out of the thousands he gets, is not dissimilar to what the professionals are doing. And in fact, the Gemini Observatory released an image just the other day of Jupiter in infrared, and this was a ground-based image, but basically doing exactly the same thing Corey's doing, just on a much larger scale.
It's amazing. Even 20 years ago, you didn't see professional planetary shots of that quality. I mean, it's the technology's come so far ahead so quickly.
Right.
I'm super impressed at what I've seen in the last 10 years. Well, 10 years? No, 8 years. 8 years now.
Amateur's been image stacking since about like early 02, 03. I think it's the first time I had heard of the whole process for amateur astronomy. But it's actually really easy to start with.
I think the history of it, well, it just started coming together in the mid 90s, but with the really early level webcams and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it came from the microscopy crew, people who were using microscopy to focus stack images. And once this software and these algorithms were developed, the astro guys really worked out how to do it. And then I believe the first few sort of amateur images were of the Shoemaker-Levy impact. Right. And then NASA took notice and said, "Whoa, you know, these amateur images are getting pretty good these days." And from there, of course, cameras and CMOS sensors and everything just improved.
That was 95, I believe. Yeah, the Shoemaker-Levy impact. That was back when people were arguing whether digital would take over from film. It seems kind of quaint now.
Oh yeah, it's taken over.
yeah, but I remember there was a whole argument about it's like because you knew a digital image when you saw it, you could see that just the resolution wasn't as good, and a lot of people that had expensive imaging photographic rigs would say, well, the digital photography probably won't ever take over from film. There was an argument to be made in those days. Anyway,
so I'll show you Corey's Jupiter from last week.
We'll actually be heading over to Jupiter pretty soon because the GRS is going to be...
I think it's just turning forward. Yeah, I looked.
It's turning now, yeah, and I want to get some decent... It's weird, now that I'm shooting for science, if you want to call it that, for me, I'm like, okay, well, the guys are interested in around the GRS and the flaking and stuff that's coming off the GRS, so that's what I'm going to focus on shooting more. You know, like, they care about the whole planet, but they care about certain features at certain times, so... That's when I want to kind of focus a little bit more.
Because there's discussion about it first about whether it seemed like the Great Red Spot had been on a trend of shrinking. Now it seems to be rebounding again. So, and there was even discussion about if we were going to lose it this century, if it was going to fade out. But it seems to be rallying now.
Was it last year or the year before where it actually changed color to that dim, very light color? Was that 2 years ago?
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, it's been kind of more of a pale salmon than really red per se recently.
It's much redder now than it has been in the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, it's iconic. It'd be sad if Jupiter lost it because then it'll look much less of what we consider Jupiter to look like. So.
Well, we could just threaten it and tell it that hey, we might like Saturn better if you lose your GRS. Yeah. I had a question on my stream about, is it at the maximum inclination towards Earth? I don't know what that means exactly.
Well, the rings
The
being
rings.
tipped
Yeah.
open. They're
Okay.
2017 they were at their max. Now they're slowly closing, and they're going to be edge on, I think, 2024, 2025.
Right.
So
I'm super stoked for that edge on view. That's going to be cool. I've never seen that before.
it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Every
It's stupid. I hate it.
Saturn orbits every 29 years. So divide 29 by 2. You get the rings edge on every 14 and a half years. Yeah.
Okay.
So and the same with being tipped wide open. So it's actually just changing its vantage point. It's not actually tipping back and forth. It's the same as our pole for the seasons. It's just our orientation toward the sun is changing.
I also had another question. Do I dump my vast raw accumulations after post-processing? How can I keep up archiving that many? Do your post-processing software delete the bad images automatically? Yeah, the answers to those questions are, do I dump them only the bad stuff? I've actually got data all the way back to 2012 that I really should delete because it's just garbage and it's useless, but it's hard to say goodbye. I'm kind of a digital pack rat. But
Corey, I noticed if you go to Jupiter, the moons Ganymede and Io are they're very, very close together too. I don't know.
Yeah, I got an image. I actually did a stack of that earlier.
Okay. Yeah, I did a little bit of research ahead to see if there was any shadows or anything interesting going on.
Yeah, no shadows with the GRS, and we should be able to get a view of the moons on screen here as soon as I finish. I'm just going to do probably one more color run, image run, finish this one, maybe do one more, maybe not. You could probably talk me into not doing it.
So I showed your Jupiter, and I showed your Saturn, and now I'm going to show your moon from last week because this one is
don't show people. That's private.
Oh, that is pretty amazing right there. That looks like LRO shot it or something.
Yeah.
Like you're literally in orbit, like low lunar orbit or something.
Yeah. And I mean, you can go back and look at what happened last week and see what it was looking like in the screen, like what we were sharing, and then you compare it to this. And so again, like, how much data did you use to take this picture, Corey?
All my lunar stuff that I do is I capture 5,000 frames of video for a single lunar image. Lunar is actually pretty easy compared to the planetary stuff, just because you basically just it's one view. I mean, you can do color if you want, but I never do with the moon, so I just do 5,000 frames every single time. That gives me over the years that basically gives me the best view of any feature. And then I will stack anywhere from, I'll do a range of 10% up to 40%, and pick whatever turns out the best, whatever's the sharpest. And then what I've been doing, just because with lunar images, it's not so much a scientific thing, it's more like, pretty pictures for the internet. So what I do for that, because people like to see, is I'll dump that straight out of the stacking software, do just a little bit of modification, not much, just a little bit of sharpening in Photoshop, and I'll dump it to my phone, and I'll use Snapseed on my phone to get it ready for social media. It's weird because it's like, at this point, I've got so much data, and I'm so tired of it just going to waste.
It is a lot of data, and I know this happens to you. You end up, as we're seeing Corey doing it now, you go through the same RGB filters or the same sequences over and over again over a course of hours, and then you might just choose one stacked frame out of that several-hour period. Or you might combine it into an animation, like a rotation animation or watching the moon's orbit. But you do end up with a stack of data. And I know this stuff's a lot easier than DSO stuff. But my DSO images, I might end up with hundreds of gigabytes being used just for one image. And so there's no way I can hold on to that and keep going. Otherwise, I'll just run out of hard drives. So I do dump a lot of data, but only after I've used the bulk of it. And I usually keep the original raw stuff and just sort of delete all the processing steps.
Yep.
Definitely,
That's why we need to invest in external hard drives.
yeah, I do, but I'm out of money for that. So,
Oh, okay.
don't donate to Fraser and then he'll buy me a hard drive.
There you go.
Is that how it works?
I don't know.
Corey.
You want a Patreon account, or you can go to photographingspace.com and send a donation. But
Jeremy
this is
Killer is asking, what is the feature size in that per pixel? So do you know like how big some of those craters are in this image?
yeah, the one with the center feature, the prettiest one on the bottom right. I'm gonna tell you right now that one's probably about 100 kilometers wide, right around there. All the features that we look at and are like super excited about, most of those craters are right around 100 kilometers wide. So it's weird that those particular ones are the ones that catch our eye, but that's just
So probably some of the details are down like in the tens of kilometers, like the central peak.
well, that
like
center thing, yeah, is probably like 10 kilometers. That center mountain is probably about 10
and
kilometers.
some of those smaller craters.
Yeah.
It's a good illumination angle there too. You get a lot of shadow. It makes it look really 3D.
So it's
Interesting. That's the only image I took that evening of the moon.
oh yeah, yeah, I know. It was like right like daytime almost.
Yeah, no, this was during daytime.
Yeah.
Infrared during daytime, which we will do if the stream is still going when it gets light with the sky. We'll do the same thing because the moon has risen.
Yeah.
So
The moon has not risen for me. So
no.
It's a 20% waning crescent
Yeah,
right now. It's
yeah.
almost new.
Mhm.
It's new later this week. So.
Yeah, it's closing in on the sun now.
Corey, are we going to be getting Mars tonight or no?
I could.
We tried to do it last week and then it was just too
Still-
daylight.
It's still teeny too. I mean, you could
Yeah.
try. I think it's only 6
we'll
or
still
7.
see surface. We'll see surface detail on Mars.
I think it's like 7 arc seconds, maybe 7 or 8 right now. And
Mhm.
we have a nice opposition in October. That's going to be a pretty favorable one. That's
Yeah,
why
well,
they're on.
I'm going to finish this up quickly with this last luminance, which isn't going to work out because my scene just kind of took a little dive. But I'll finish this 90-second capture here, and then I will slew over to Mars before we go to Jupiter, because the Great Red Spot is still a little, it's kind of on the limb, so I'm not too worried about it yet.
We're finally synchronized for the Great Red Spot for the weekly
Right.
star
Oh,
party,
wow, yeah.
virtual
We
star
were-
party.
Ours was with Fraser as well. It was front and center, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we did the math before that there, because it's not precisely 10 hours. Jupiter rotates.
Mm-mm.
It's like 9 hours, 9:55 or something like that. So I think there is a synchronization that if you observe the same time every week, you're either going to see it or not, like every Sunday night at 10 o'clock or something.
So I'm fully operational now with the DSO scope, which is the one that's in the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going
Let's see it
to
moving.
take a quick picture of M13, and then I thought maybe we'll take some pictures of some galaxies and just rub it in the southern hemisphere people's faces.
What's fun? You should do
It's
that.
the one
You
thing
should
you've
do
got. Come on.
I'll just slew over to what should I Omega Centauri and make you all
Yeah,
feel
that's
bad.
a
Oh, there you
great.
go.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. All right, I'll do a.
Okay, I'm done with Saturn now, so I'm gonna say goodbye to Saturn.
Bye bye, Saturn.
Okay, now where the heck is Mars?
Can you guys see the Mars approaches slide that I've just got up now?
So let me see if I can. So
On
so
screen.
you're sharing your screen.
Sort of, yeah.
So let me see if I can take it over. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
So we were just talking about the apparent size of Mars and how it's going to increase over the next little while, and you can see the opposition there in October. It is quite dramatic, really, really dramatic. So Mars is already quite diminutive as a planet, so we do really wait to the opposition to see much of the detail, the polar ice caps and the surface detail. But as you can see, these are images by Andy Casey, the same guy I just mentioned actually, who discovered the polar storm on Saturn. and with his C14, he's still getting quite a lot of detail even now.
So, Dave, can you build your list for me then of objects I'm going to start taking pictures of?
Yeah, there's actually another supernova in NGC 3643 that might be. It's supposed to be 12th magnitude, so I think that would be something kind of interesting. The galaxy on its own is not a remarkable one, but
We had a pretty bad picture. Is the supernova still in that galaxy that we saw last week?
M61,
yeah,
yes.
61. That's a good one too. Yeah, we looked at
Yep.
that one last week. That one is still there. I've seen other people have been imaging that one as well. Yeah, spring is galaxy time up through.
Yeah.
You got the Virgo cluster and Coma Berenices, and Sombrero Galaxy is a good one. The Black Eye Galaxy. I don't know if we looked at Black Eye Galaxy last week. That's
We did.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got it last week.
Yeah. So I'm just I'm going to go fast, Dave, so we can get as many
Okay.
pictures into people's eyeballs as possible. I'm going to probably do like 1 minute exposures on each one of them. So
we could go for it'll look just like a star, but there is a bright quasar, one of the brightest ones in the bowl of Virgo. Again, it'll look like that star is a quasar. So
yeah, that'll just look like a
you know,
star.
Yeah, but just to know it's a quasar is kind of
Yeah.
wow. But I've shown people that before, and it's kind of just to think that it's billions of light years away is kind of mind blowing.
So give me a target. So you want me to try to do the Black Eye Galaxy then?
we could, yeah.
Okay. And that was M61?
No, Black Eye
No.
Galaxy's M64.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's sad that I memorized most of them because when you do deep sky objects, you just have them just know them right off the top of your head.
Yeah.
It's not sad at all.
Yeah,
It's
so are you
actually
kidding? That's the mad respect, man. We
Yeah.
bow down.
Don't ever apologize.
Um,
The
Good.
messiers are pretty. It's when you get into the NGCs that usually have to start consulting. Some of the NGCs are well known, but
And the Caldwells and the Abels and
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
man, there's just so many of them. Vandenbergs.
yeah, and the catalogs tend to overlap too. So
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I can see the light is shining down the lens a bit, so I'm going to turn off the camera on the telescope so that we don't wreck my picture.
We do have Mars. We've got surface detail. We've got the polar
I
cap.
can see
Yeah.
the polar cap. Yep.
I'll zoom in a little more here because this is just a little. Whoa.
Oh boy.
Now, here.
There used to be a nifty app called Mars Previewer that would tell you what latitudes, longitudes are turned forward, so you could kind of get an idea. Oh yeah, and it's a little gibbous too. It's kind of
Yeah, no, I like
cool,
that
just-
part about it.
yeah.
It's like a little acorn in the sky.
yeah, it shows a little bit of a phase.
Okay,
The
so
outer-
this is immense and it looks pretty wobbly. For when we go back over to Jupiter, I'm actually going to have to do a meridian flip because, yeah, I've been shooting past the meridian on Saturn and Mars on Saturn and Jupiter. Mars is still on the right side for me. Yeah, it's a bit wobbly. Look at that. Yeesh. I'm gonna switch to red. Red is always nice. Let's see if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the polar cap's always the first thing that kind of pops out. It's one of the largest features.
It's at the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah,
And
at the
water,
eyepiece,
ice,
it'll look
carbon
like a
dioxide.
little carbon dioxide. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking last week about the potential for doing some kind of live stack, and so I think I've got it working.
Fraser, can you mute me in your stream for like a minute?
Mute you in my stream. So you can mute your. Let's see. There, you're muted. I can't hear what you're saying.
Yep, you muted it. Yep.
Okay.
Ah, finally. Now let me tell you about Corey.
he can still hear us.
He's still going. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. So I got one quick shot of M13.
I still see Mars in the room here. Are you pulling up
Oh, there it is.
yours
Yep,
for
yep,
us?
there it is.
Yeah.
It's one of the better northern hemisphere globulars in
Mm-hmm.
Hercules. Always an easy one to find because it's right along in the keystone too. So in the keystone asterism.
So it's interesting. So I'm trying this. So I'll show you this. I'll share this with you. So there's this service called, so in the software that I'm using to actually share to control the telescope, it has this ability called Live Stack. And so I'll show you what it looks like. I don't like it, but maybe you know. Do you use the sky at all, Dylan?
No, I don't. Sorry.
No. Okay. All right. So this is the challenge that I'm trying to figure out. So I'll show you what it looks like here. So this is so it's essentially building up live every 20 seconds. It's adding another picture to this shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is the Black Eye Galaxy, and these are I think those must be that one I think is the supernova, but I'm not real happy with what it looks like.
The supernova is an M61. That's
M61.
An M64.
Yeah. Or we're in M.
Yeah, that's a
different one. Okay, all right.
different galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fraser, what I use for the live stacking is just Deep Sky Stacker Live.
Yeah.
And if you create a folder and you make sure that you use it as a destination, then you can monitor that folder, and then every time it takes a picture, it will stack it live every single time.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I use for my, and it works perfectly fine.
Yeah, and that's free and open source. And we mentioned the Unistellascope before. That's all the same sort of stuff that's baked into those sorts of products. But this is something you can do yourself as long as you have a camera and a telescope and a computer.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the best way to do that is, to get an image that I'm happy with the quality of it, and then at the same time to get, because when I download and I run it in Nebulosity, I can actually make some pretty quick changes to the picture. Right. And sort of try to bring out different parts of the image, and so every image is its own special flower.
So were you saying this one's your biggest in the Northern Hemisphere?
Yes. Yeah, this is the best we've got.
This and M3, I think, are two of the best. Just like and this one's much easier to find than M3. M3 is kind of in a vacant area of the sky. This one, I always know, like at star parties, that keystone asterism right there in Hercules, it's right along one of the apex, one of the vertices. So this one's pretty easy to find with a small telescope.
Yeah.
And globs are always up for discussion because of the, I got in trouble the other day for calling the blue stars new stars or younger stars, younger than the orange population, because they're typically made up of these old stars, right? But the population of blue stars has changed. I mean, it's through mergers, collisions, they've been revitalized with stellar material. So I don't really consider them sort of as the same population as the first stars. And I stick by calling them young, but I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, this was the one I think Arecibo beamed a message toward back in 1973.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was M13. However, now they know, like you say, these are very metal poor population 2 stars, I believe. And so there probably aren't any kind of rocky planets there, or at least they're very sparse around those, because globulars are very old. So it's more likely that most likely there's probably nobody there to receive a message. But
all right, Dave. So I took a picture of M61.
Okay.
And then I'm now slewing over to M101. But can you give me another target?
There is a good planetary. There's the Eye Nebula up in, if you want something other than galaxies.
Yeah.
That should be up in Ursa Major. That's probably one of the better planetaries that's up in the spring.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's unfortunately the best planetaries are not up
summer
yet.
objects. Yeah, like in the Dumbbell and Vulpecula, and those are all in like the Orion. Well, the Orion Nebula is more of a emission nebula, but that's behind the sun. We're actually in that worst time of year for Betelgeuse to go supernova. So hopefully it's thinking of Orion right now. So hopefully if it had that on its mind, it holds off now because it's on the other side of the sun. The Ring Nebula. The Ring Nebula probably is too low. That's in Lyra nearby. Yeah, it's below the horizon right now.
Yeah.
Give another hour or two, it might be high enough.
Yeah, for him right now, the Ring Nebula sits at 12 degrees.
Okay, yeah, too low.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see if my M101 comes through. And these are just 1 minute, 60-second exposures. So now people are going to notice that some of the stars have a little bit of star trailing on them. And people are wondering if there's a problem with the tracking. No, it's not the tracking. It's that wind that I was mentioning. Mm-hmm. So the wind is blowing and all right.
And that's
it's
how you know it's
causing
live.
Star trails. And so when I do normally you would take a lot more pictures and then you just throw out the ones that you didn't like, the ones that the wind pushed your telescope around a bit. So here is the supernova.
Yep, still there.
Yeah.
I kind of have this star pattern memorized. I've looked at it enough times now.
Yeah.
Is it at the bottom there?
There's a line of 3, and it's kind of it's where I'm looking at it. It's the most leftmost
bottom left
one. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
There's
a little bit of trailing in that. Yeah, I can see the wind must be jittering it just a little bit.
Yeah, and you're going to see that. Like I said, right now the wind speed is probably 20 kilometers an hour, 19 kilometers an hour now. So the wind speed is still going down. And it's still actually kind of bright. Like we're not going to get an actual dark sky for about another half hour or so. So this is definitely not going to be the best pictures. But at the same time, it's late for the East Coasters, so this is sort of a good balance.
It's about it's midnight here.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, you're astronomers, so you're kind of used to that. I'm not.
I'll be up till like 3.
I'm such a lightweight. I'm just I get so sleepy. But the nice thing about the modern telescopes these days is you can just set them to be automated, and then they'll just go and just shoot all your pictures all night long, and then you just get up in the morning and it's all done.
I know this kind of spoils you.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody mentioned it, but the name of the supernova is SN 2020 JFO is the name of the supernova.
Oh,
yeah,
great!
I had seen that.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, I finished my M101. Where am I going now? The Owl?
Yeah, let's go to Messier 97.
Okay.
That's Eye Nebula. That's another one that's pretty easy to find because it's right on the bottom of the bowl of the Big Dipper asterism. So I say asterism because, as opposed to constellations, because they're kind of informal groups of stars, whereas constellations are formalized by the International Astronomical Union. So,
all right, I'm going to
things like the Big Dipper is an asterism, the Sickle of Leo is an asterism, the Bowl of Virgo is an asterism. So
you can see Corey is still taking shots of Jupiter here. So I'll open up Stellarium. Okay, all right. So someone's asking what telescope to buy. It's $2,000. David, go.
Well, if you want as much aperture as you could get, it depends what you want to do. If you're
right.
if you want to just do visual observing, you want to go for as much aperture as you can get, and I would go for the biggest Dobsonian you could get for $2,000. And again, but then you got to look at are you in a place where are you going to be able to drag that out and use it? I mean, is it going to fit in your car, to get it out to a dark sky site? So I actually have, for traveling, I have this little 5-inch Maksudov that it's pretty portable. I can break it down into an airline carry kit. It's about as much aperture as I could carry on to break down for international flight. So that was kind of what decision went into buying sturdiest tripod, biggest aperture I could get. This rig was about I'd say $500 all told. So it wasn't
Yeah.
expensive. This doesn't track. This just has an multi-azimuth mount, and you just, for star parties, I just need something I can manually aim and show people stuff. There's not a lot of bells and whistles that I have to. But if you want to go into photography, then you're talking about you want something that polar tracks and has a very rock solid, sturdy mount. So then it's a trade-off. You probably don't want a Dobsonian if you think you're going to do photography. You want like a German equatorial or a fork mount. Mounts, incidentally, are the thing that a lot of people overlook. That's probably you want something that is not going to jitter in the wind, that's going to be really kind of rock solid and stable. So nothing's more frustrating in the field than a wobbly mount.
All right, so I'm going to share the M101 image. So I'm sharing my copy of Stellarium so you can see where in the sky M101 is. And so this is the Big Dipper. And it's, I guess it's kind of, it looks like it's upside down, but that's sort of its position right now. And so sort of at the very end of the Big Dipper, there's a pile of galaxies sort of all in this whole region here. And so if you can sort of find the very end 2 stars of the Big Dipper where the handle is, they form a triangle with this galaxy M101.
And the reason is Ursa Major, we're looking out
in this area.
We're looking out in the springtime in the evening from the northern hemisphere. You're looking out away from the plane of the Milky Way, our home galaxy. So you see all these big galaxy groups. You're looking out into, like when they did the Hubble Deep Field, they did it up toward Ursa Major. And the reason is they wanted to look as deep as possible into a very vacant region of the sky.
So I left the image out just because I got a satellite trail in the picture.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so people are always like, how do you feel about Starlinks passing through your picture? So I would have to throw this picture out.
That may be a Starlink.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? And it's a little galaxy there. But yeah, so what do I think? I want fast internet from my remote Canadian countryside, and I also want to not have to remove star trails from my pictures. I feel both of these things simultaneously. Dave, what do you want after the Owl Nebula?
Have we done, speaking of galaxies in Ursa Major, there's Messier 51.
Sure, we'll do M51 next.
It's a good face-on spiral. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a classic one.
Yeah.
Usually it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, I love that galaxy. Okay, I'll go slew to that, and then I'll show the Owl Nebula. So we'll go back to Stellarium now.
Why did Dylan leave? He just walked away.
Amazon?
Maybe.
Oh, it's
lucky.
He's at the front door.
All right.
Check Mars or Jupiter though. We've got a nice view of Jupiter.
Okay,
right now.
great.
Super stable. I'm
All
super
right.
pumped about this.
So I'll show this Owl Nebula, and then we'll go back to Jupiter. So back to the Big Dipper here. So that's where the Pinwheel Galaxy was that we looked at before. What?
Oh.
His new telescope just arrived just now. That is awesome.
Also not fair.
Yeah, and so you can see so there's the bottom of the Big Dipper, or and right there is the Owl Nebula. And I will bring up the Owl Nebula.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one to find too.
Yeah.
Well, did you pay for that scope, or did they just send you a box full of like peanuts?
I paid for it fair and square, but
did you?
It has arrived. So
which
very
telescope
excited.
is it?
Just got a C11 Edge HD, so
cool.
2800 focal length native. So I'm hoping to get a few more planets this season.
That's actually a longer focal length than mine, but it's also a little bit slower, right?
Good.
Okay.
That's right.
I know you're very worried about that. Tesla. But
yeah, see, I have an audience who are Elon Musk fans because of the Tesla thing. And I have the other side of my audience just hate Elon Musk because of Starlink. So I have to straddle this very fine balance between them both.
Everybody knows Elon Musk is from South Africa, so I'm supposed to like him. But I mean,
yeah,
it's like Trump. Don't look at his Twitter because you'll just hate
him. Exactly. Yeah. So someone's going to say this is going to turn into an unboxing video. So there's the Owl Nebula, and this is a star like our sun that's going to that shows you what the future of our sun will be when it dies.
I think it's about 8,000 light years away, if I recall. So it's one of the closer. I think there's a background galaxy. Seems so I recall there's an NGC galaxy very close to it. I think I see it in the background in the frame.
Yeah, so I'll go back and you can actually see there is a galaxy just in the top corner of the picture.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
Right there.
NGC 3556, I think. Yeah, that's because I've seen that looking around at showing that off at star parties before in the wide field that you can catch both the planetary and the galaxy in the same frame.
That's really cool. All right, so there's Corey's. Hey, look at that Jupiter.
There's the spot.
And now this is important because this is the blue filter, which is notoriously the absolute worst view.
Yeah, I've been watching it. It's been looking really steady as I've seen it coming on the screen here.
Very nice. I mean, you can see detail in the north and south equatorial belts. You can actually see detail in the polar regions, which is on blue. That's pretty incredible. I'm pretty happy with this. I would give the seeing conditions about an 8 out of a 10 right now, maybe 7.5 depending, but like, I don't know, 7.2. I don't even know. It's like I don't think I've ever seen 10, so it's hard to even give it a
All right, Dave, what do you want next?
Do something different than galaxies. There's one of the better open clusters in Cancer is Messier 67.
Okay.
Maybe that should be toward the zenith right now.
Okay.
Just to mix it up because most of what's up there
I mean, we get what we get. So yeah. I mean, it's going to be a lot of galaxies. It's the season.
Then when you go towards summer, then you get the plane of the Milky Way up.
Yeah.
So then you're going to get all the nearby Milky Way objects.
Yeah.
So
and right so now, come.
Spring is always galaxy time.
We get the Milky Way core. Where is it? Is it at zenith? That's zenith. Yeah.
Yeah, we see it just over the horizon.
Yeah, I've been south of the equator. I've been south of the equator 5 times, and you realize up north we just see a little piece of the core.
Yeah,
we don't see it really the whole.
I was in Australia hanging out with Dylan, and I hurt my neck. I'm sure, looking at the core of the Milky Way.
You sure it wasn't because you were listening to the music that Dylan likes to listen to?
It was, headbanging. No, it was straight up. Amy Scott and Flyers asking if we can point at Oumuamua. We could point at the point of the sky that has Oumuamua in it.
That it's heading out toward. I think it's heading out toward in Taurus, which is sunward right now.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, so we'll go back to Stellarium just to show you where M51 is. And so again, we're spending quite a lot of time in this part of Ursa Major. So M51, we're back, but now we're a little below the handle of the Milky Way. Sorry, the handle of the Big Dipper. And so before the pinwheel was up above, and now we're looking at the whirlpool, which is down below. And this is one of the nicest objects in the sky.
A cool thing with the Big Dipper is it's actually what's known as the Ursa Major moving group. All those stars are a few hundred light years away, and they're moving past our part of the galaxy right now. Our sun isn't part of the Ursa Major moving group, but it's one of the closer moving groups of stars to us in the galaxy. We just happen to be slipping past that stream of stars right now.
So my seeing is getting a lot better now that it's getting darker.
So that's not seeing, that's just dark.
Yeah. My images are getting better now that it's getting darker.
There we go. Thank you. Use the correct nomenclature, please.
I'm not an astronomer, man.
What kind of camera do you have, Fraser?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
I have whatever one Dustin put into this telescope.
That is the wrong answer, Fraser.
Well, that's all I know.
I bet it says it on the screen. You just
should.
It should. ZWO Zwo?
Yeah. So it's a red one. Just say it's a red one.
Yeah.
I've got a red one.
Yeah, it's a Zwo Assy.
Zwo. Is it a Zwo Assy?
It's a Zwo Assy. Yeah, I forget exactly which model, but it is a ZWO. It's the full color model, right?
Yeah, it's the MC. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the MCs.
All right, Dave, I need a new target.
Probably 1600, don't you think, Dylan? If it's the color,
1600 is probably the most popular
It
and
is.
cost-effective one at the moment. Yeah, it's very common.
Yeah, but that's that's a 1 minute exposure on this galaxy.
No, it's really good.
That's
You can see
impressive.
the little satellite galaxy, and
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
yeah. And
Yeah,
so
this is the one. The Earl of Ross would use the what they call the Leviathan of Parsonstown in Ireland. He sketched this structure. It was in the 1850s. They first saw that was a 72-inch reflector that
Wow.
he first drew
All right.
the spiral structure on it.
Dave, I need you to stay on target. I need you to focus here.
M67.
I already did M67, so here's
Oh,
M67. So I need to know what comes after M67.
Okay. How about there's a bunch of galaxies in Leo that are currently up toward the zenith, like the Leo triplet.
Can we do the triplet?
It depends how wide your field is. If you do like around M66 or M96, M95, you should be able at least to get 2. Maybe you can get 3.
Okay. All right. So give me. So what was the galaxy again?
Try M96.
Okay, M96.
oh, can you guys hear the hadida birds every once in a while? Dylan, remember those?
The what,
ibis.
sorry?
You guys, we call them hadidas.
Bin
here.
chickens.
Yeah.
Bin chickens. Yeah.
We've got these massive birds. They're ibis, and they've got them in Australia as well. And they're just the most annoying things ever. They're like flying rats with beaks.
I can't hear them.
They're beautiful.
You will. They sound like pterodactyls. It's ridiculous.
We've got a starling who has figured out how to imitate a bald eagle. And so we've got this starling who
really
sits in this tree
upwards.
above our house and is constantly making this eagle call. And we keep thinking we hear an eagle, and then nope, it's a starling. So
It's
funny.
out there. Made you look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then every now and then we hear some real eagles, but
Oh, cool.
yeah. So there's your M67.
67.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's one of my favorite open clusters in
Yeah.
in the springtime up in Cancer. There's some discussion that the metallicity of these stars seem to be very similar to our sun. So there's some hints out there that are this isn't proven, but because they don't know what cluster our sun might have been related to like earlier, but there's some hints out there that this cluster seems to have some very tantalizing similarities when they look at the spectra of these stars. Some of the metallicity of them is very close to what our sun has. So it might be it could possibly be the progenitor cluster of our sun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just that was a study a few years ago. That's still debated right now.
Yeah.
Because our sun had a binary at some point, or most stars have a binary pair, a partner.
Yeah.
We just don't know which one is ours.
Yeah, we would have been born out of like the Pleiades, like a stellar nursery, something like that. But it's interesting that some of these stars here, when they're looking at the spectra of them, that our sun is a very rich, metal-rich star. Metal being anything above hydrogen, helium in astronomy is metal. So,
All right. I think I've got a picture of the galaxy. So give me another target. We'll go back to Corey's Jupiter.
There's another group of galaxies up in Leo around M65 as well.
So that was M67.
67.
No, that was. Didn't we do M65? Where am I pointing right now?
I think the
M96.
next one.
I'm on M96.
M96
right now.
is the Leo triplet. So
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to go with? Tony is asking for the Heart and Soul Nebula. Can we do that right now?
which one
That's
is
the
that?
fall, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not up yet.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those nebulae we just can't get them right now. It's galaxy season. Yeah. People are asking me how I'm able to use this telescope. Yeah, the telescope that I'm using is located in Landers, California, which is why, it's not just filling up with water. which is if I had a telescope, that's what it would do.
Yeah, for the Heart Nebula, it's circumpolar. What that means is that it never does set, but it's super low in the horizon right now.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's about 23 degrees above the horizon. It's just not right.
All right. So someone's saying the Markarian chain.
Yeah, that's
of
cool.
galaxies. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's try that. Markarian's chain. Okay.
If you can get that in one image, I'll be impressed, because that's
They're fainter, but you might be able to get them with those. Yeah, I think that's
so.
a Virgo.
And if you want like the actual NGC, one of them is NGC 4473.
The telescope I'm using was able to find it just from that name, so I think we're okay.
Ooh,
There we go. There we go.
I feel so spoiled that we're getting a chance to see the Great Red Spot again.
Yeah.
It's right here. If you're curious where you're looking,
Yeah,
but
that's it.
the seeing it's if you can see here, I'm going to move my telescope. This is my telescope right now. So
Look at it glowing in the sunshine.
yeah, this is actually the sunrise starting to come up. So yeah, it's we're imaging in the daylight right now. I'm gonna have to switch
how to
over.
party, Corey.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, man, I keep saying, Dylan, we need to drink some beers, man.
I'm down.
I'm gonna switch over to infrared here pretty quick, because this is.
So I'll bring the galaxy. So this was the galaxy in Leo. I guess this is the triplet. So we've got
you've got two of them in there. I see, probably
sort of one over there
and one there,
and then one there.
I think there's also another one, but it's probably out of frame.
Yeah. So let's see if I can pull it up a little better. So there's like this one, and then there's one over here down is like an elliptical galaxy, and there's like.
I know with the eyepiece, if you've got like a over a degree field of view, you can usually nab all three in one view.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. We'll go back to Jupiter.
Galaxies for us here in the Southern Hemisphere are pretty challenging. Most of them are very, very small, apart from the large and small Magellanic Clouds. You guys have a real pick of them, but in general, galaxies are small targets anyway. So although this new scope here is good for planets, it's also going to be good for a bit of galaxy work too.
Yeah. Patrick is asking, Fraser, has the increase in air quality made your job and all astronomers' jobs better? So do you think the improved air quality from the lack of, I don't know, human civilization is making things better?
I've definitely noticed it. I mean, I live in Johannesburg, the biggest, like the most polluted whatever city in on the continent, and well, one of them, and definitely like the sky is clearer. There has been. We're starting to reopen stuff now, and so there's more traffic and everything, but a lot less pollution. You can see it on the horizons specifically, but a lot of people, and people not astronomers, friends of mine who've never looked through a telescope, or if they haven't been to my house, you know, they're just like, Corey, do you see a lot more stars? And I was like, well, actually, yeah. So it's been nice.
David,
the
chain came through great. Sorry, can you give me another target?
There's actually there's one we're looking at Jupiter. There's a nebula called the Ghost of Jupiter and Hydra. I think you could probably get it.
All right, let's try it. Now we're talking. Let's get off the beaten track here. The Ghost of Jupiter.
NGC 3242.
All right.
If I remember right, Ghost of Jupiter kind of just looks like a fuzzy ball thing.
So
it's a planetary.
4232?
3242.
3242. Okay. All right. And we can also try for a comet again. Sorry, Corey. Sorry to interrupt you there. I just needed to.
It's fine. It's your stream. Wait, it's my stream. I'll just mute you if I wanted to talk on my stream.
So for people, I know, Patrick, you're wondering why I didn't answer your question. I'm doing about 7 things all at the same time. Like, it looks like I'm just sort of looking, up a little bit, but actually I'm trying to operate a telescope, run this live stream, manage these guys, and also stay on top of the chat. So I'm just.
We need to send leg breakers, because we will. I mean, I'm also running 17 things at once.
Yeah, exactly. So each one of us is sort of at the very limits of our cognitive load right now. But hopefully, as we get more astronomers involved, more people sharing the load, then we'll be able to sort of spread this out. But yeah,
We'll do our best to get to questions. Don't worry.
yeah.
Just call him on his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, call him. Do not watch me destroy my phone.
He'll do it with speed.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't tell if I'm in focus or not. This is hard. It's grainy. When it gets light out, it's actually difficult to focus, even in infrared. But I'm gonna go for it. I think it looks fine. I don't know. So in infrared, it's interesting if you're looking at that. I think you might be. The great red spot is here, and in infrared, it kind of disappears because, well, it's red. So you get near that red end of the spectrum, and it's going to be the brightest thing in the image is the reddest thing, and so the great red spot turns into the great white spot.
Okay, this is amazing. All right, I know I shouldn't do this, but I love this. So this is the Markarian's chain.
Oh, look at that!
Got him.
Everybody on my stream, go over to Fraser's stream. Look at
yeah, you did get it.
Look at that.
I think the brighter ones are like 12th magnitude in there. So.
And this is just 1 minute. So. How many galaxies are in there?
I think about a dozen that I see.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
This isn't one of star parties I would generally go after, like I said, because it's even the brighter ones are below 10th magnitude. But
yeah, and so that's a small fraction of the whole screen. So that's the whole field of view there, and so it's taking up like maybe a quarter of the field of view. And so just think about this, right? Each one of these is a galaxy like the Milky Way with hundreds of billions of stars, and each one has some number of planets orbiting around it. It's just...
And I think the special thing about this one in particular is because it's in Virgo, and we are in the Virgo supercluster. This is our neighborhood.
Yeah, when you talk about how there's someone did a great image. They took a wide field shot of the Virgo supercluster, and then sort of showed each individual galaxy of the various members, right? And so we talk about this idea that we live in the Virgo supercluster. There it is, right there. You're looking at these galaxies right nearby us. Yeah, what a just perspective. Like, how far away are some of these galaxies? Tens of millions of light years away?
I think they're in the 100 million or so light years. I know some of the closer ones are like 20 or 30. So I think these ones, I want to say probably are at least in the 100 million light years or so range.
Dylan's the one wearing a lab coat, so he should be the one answering the math question.
What are the members of the Markarian's chain, and what
name all the stars?
Yeah, name all the stars. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a rough rule of thumb. Most of these ones that are 12th or 14th magnitude, I would say they're probably in the 100 million light years or so range.
All right, I'm going to refocus the telescope. It's getting a little blurry from my perspective here, so I'll do that. I'm going to go back to Corey's view here.
Yeah. Check my telescope view. It's so pretty. It's such nice.
Look at that. Oh, is that like a bird? A bird just flew by.
Bird. Yep.
Probably.
Oh, cool.
I'm just waiting for the day where a bird perches on the tube and just poops right down into the mirror.
It happens.
It's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna be the both best and worst day of my life. Oh boy. So guys, I'm trying to figure out. I built my own observatory thingy, like a telescope cover, and I want to give it a name because Dylan, he always says I'm Dylan O'Donnell from the Byron Bay Observatory, which is a load because it's his backyard telescope. But I'm gonna steal the idea, and I just need a name for mine. It's basically just a big green tarp.
Well, you can have an official designation through the Minor Planet Center. And once you start tracking asteroids and sending back
they'll
Everest data,
designate your.
they will give you a designation, and you can pick whatever you want. Like there are some Star Trek jokes and stuff in that designation list. I just picked Byron Bay Observatory because I am literally the only observatory here and the easternmost in Australia. So I decided to take that first before anyone else did.
That's pretty cool. See, I need to come up with a name.
Is there a Johannesburg observatory?
Yeah, there actually is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
People probably don't know. Most people don't know, but in South Africa, in the Karoo Desert, which is about a 12-hour drive for me, I've been there several times, is the South African Large Telescope, which is the largest optical telescope in the Southern Hemisphere. It's got an 11-meter mirror, and it is incredible to see. It's in the middle of the semi-desert, and it's beautiful. There's tons of domes. They actually rent out the land on the top of, I don't know if that one is actually an extinct volcano or if it's just like one of the mountains, but they rent out the land to a lot of other countries and observatories. So there's quite a few smaller observatories right like on this little hill. It's just a really cool place to be. So yeah, there's that. And then there's the SAAO, which is the South African Astronomical Observatory, which is in Cape Town. And then here in Johannesburg, there's at one of the universities, there's an observatory there. I don't know if they do much with it or if it's just kind of like, part of the university and they don't really use it. But there is one. There's actually an area, I think it's in Cape Town, called Observatory. It's like if you live in Observatory, that you could live there, which is cool. I'm gonna have to give mine like personal
look
name.
that up.
Yeah, there might be an observatory in Johannesburg as well.
I think going with the standard convention that you call things an acronym, and it refers to the size of the telescope, like big effing telescope. You should be the CBT, Corey's Big Telescope.
That could work. Oh, hey, my dog just visited. You guys want to see my dog? Check out my dog. Hold on, come here, Vega. This is Vega, a star. Whoa, touching my screen. Oops. Don't touch the screen, dog. Say hello.
Dave, there is your 32.
Ghost of Jupiter.
42. Ghost of Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a planetary nebula, but it's a fairly bright planetary nebula. Again, doesn't show a lot of detail, like Corey was saying, but that's why they get the name planetary nebula, because astronomers back 17th, 18th century visually they look like planets. That's why there is the Ghost of Jupiter. It's like they have nothing to do with planets actually, but astronomers back in the day didn't know anything about the nature of what these objects were. They just knew visually what they looked like.
Someone's asking if I can see Neptune. What's up for me?
I don't think.
Nope, not Neptune.
Yeah. The only evening planet we have is Venus now.
Venus, right? Not Uranus.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, everything's in the morning.
Not Venus. It's like at the horizon right now.
Fraser, I'm probably going to let you go, but I have the coordinates to the comet T2 Pan-STARRS if you want to look at it.
Was that the one we did last week?
Yeah, it's up in the evening. You were talking about comets. It's really the only other one is F8 Swan, but that's in the morning.
Oh, okay, okay.
I've got Neptune over here by me, actually.
Do you want to try to get it? That'd be awesome. Do it.
Oh my goodness. I've never tried, and it's also daytime.
Neptune in the daytime, yeah.
I think the moon is very near Neptune.
I think you're too far away. The astronomy police won't be able to get to you in time.
Well, also Pluto is right next to Jupiter, so it's like actually just next door to where I'm looking right now. But geez, again, daytime not going to happen. No.
Yeah, you can. You can have a dot. We've done it before.
Yeah, but in the daytime in infrared.
Yeah, but I would love to see that Neptune. Dave, sure. So why don't you give me the right ascension and declination, and then I'll take a picture and I'll send it to you later on.
All right, right ascension 9 hours 23 minutes,
9 hour, 23 minutes. Yeah.
And declination plus 72 degrees, 49 minutes.
49 minutes. Okay, awesome. I'll take a crack at that as well.
Yeah, it's 8th magnitude right now. There's a bunch of binocular comets, but that's the only good evening one for Northern Hemisphere right now.
Yeah.
I tried for F8 Swan the other morning. I couldn't find it. It's very low in the twilight right now, in the dawn. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, David, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. If you show up next week, bring a list. As you can see, once this telescope starts rolling, it just gobbles up targets.
I did some research this time.
Yeah,
so,
well, use the book. So for people who don't know, Dave's got a book coming out shortly that will be covering these exact topics. So
yeah, the book is actually in shards right now, but I actually have the custom maps that I made. They didn't do full page, unfortunately, for the book, but I have them as full page. So that's what I'm working off.
All right, I've refocused my telescope, so I'm going to try going to this target that Dave was talking about.
And I also must love and leave you guys. It's been a pleasure to be back on the virtual star party again.
Yeah,
it's good
much
to see
love
you.
from the Southern Hemisphere, and I hope to do it again next time.
Yeah, well, we're going to do this every week, so you'll get an invitation every week, Dylan. Then you can just decide whether you want to, try using that the solar telescope, or I'm trying to think. Will there ever be a time when you'll be able to have like the morning sky like Corey is doing, or will it always be daytime
it's like
for you?
Unless you do it at morning or midday your time.
Well, I'm trying to think. So in the middle of the winter time, it'll be. We'll probably start at like 5 o'clock our time, so probably 3 hours earlier. Does that work?
I'm definitely up for some nighttime astronomy. That would be great.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Don't you have an infrared filter, Dylan?
Yeah, just.
Oh, I'm serious. That's what I'm using right now because my sky is.
Yeah, that's cool. But I'd be doing deep space stuff.
Look at you, just like nah.
Even with that new telescope.
What'd you ask him?
I was asking with that new telescope. Like, isn't that like more of a planetary one?
It is. It's a very long focal length, but knowing him, he's probably going to put a hyperstar on it or something and do some deep sky with it as well. It's going to be like I don't remember what the C11 is. If it's an F10, so it will work. It'll be a great galaxy scope because for those further galaxies, those smaller ones, I mean, the thing will be huge in the frame.
Yeah.
So, and with his, I think he's got a CGX mount. So it's a big mount. It'll be able to track nicely with the C11. So it'll work quite well for deep space.
I'm going to hang out just enough. I want to see what the comet looks like.
Yeah.
Then I'll probably.
All right. All right. We're moving to that position. I think we're at it. Let me just double check.
And I want to make sure I got the field right.
Yeah.
I looked it up on Starry Night real quick for the
telescope.
Yeah. You do, Dave. I got it.
Anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think I'm there. So let me take my shot.
I'm gonna see how many Jupiters I've captured here in infrared, and then I can move over to the moon and do infrared moon stuff. It'll look like nighttime again. So let's see, how many do I have?
All right, so let me see where that. I wonder if comets are available in. Is it Pan-STARRS?
This one, I don't think it's in Stellarium. I had to manually load it into Starry Night. Is how
I have
Sky.
I have Sky Safari, and it instantly shows it once you update the solar system.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it'll actually show it on there and everything.
Yeah,
I've liked Sky Safari a lot better recently. I've noticed the ephemeral data is much more accurate with Sky Safari than some of the other apps.
Yeah.
So like if you want to know when the GRS is going to be, showing, or moons and everything, it's actually very accurate within a few minutes, where things are going to be. So
a lot of times when there's a new comet, I have to take the ephemeris from JPL Horizons and then manually put it into Starry Night.
Oh,
which
nailed
is kind
it,
of tedious,
Dave.
But, okay, let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, this is gonna be good.
This one I had got from downtown with Stellina as well. I'd actually managed to get a little bit of an image from it. So
I wonder if I can get the Iris Nebula. It's 20 degrees up right now. Oh, I'm synchronizing my focus run. Okay, hold on a second here.
I'm so stoked at how stable my skies have been, like tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had stability like this for quite. Oh, what just happened? For quite a few days. Sorry, I just had a little bit of a nerd freak out there.
There is another comet coming up this summer that I've been following. A U6 Lemon, actually, maybe a good binocular comet. It's kind of near the sun right now, so it's not great. I was looking at it earlier tonight to see if we could get that, but in a month or two, we may get it. So there's about 4 or 5 binocular comets right now.
So you're not going to try to go for Neptune, Corey?
I'll go for Neptune on the way to the moon, and I will see.
All right.
I got to do another.
Oh, that'd be nice. The moon will be great.
Yeah, I got to do another meridian flip, though, so you have to give me a minute or two. I'm going to do one more capture of this Jupiter, and then I'll move over and do non-serious stuff, which will be the Neptune and the moon.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got to wait a second for the data to show up.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that from when we started looking at Jupiter again, the GRS is right here. You know, it's already moved like a full GRS rotation. Or diameter. Rather.
I'll get you this comet, Dave, and then you're free.
I'm just curious to see what it looks like now. I haven't seen it for a week. So
yeah, it looks great.
I think I had heard something about this might be sprouting a small anti-tail as well. So
really? Okay.
Yeah. See, sometimes you get a twin dust and ion tail, and then you get the spiky anti-tail toward the sun. So comets can change appearance. This one hasn't been getting as much press, but it's well located right now. It's too bad because it's up in Ursa. I think this one goes near Messier 81 and 82 in a day or two.
Yeah, it passed by it about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so that makes a good. It's very photogenic.
So the anti-tail is like a second tail that's.
I don't quite see it. No, not in that. But it would be like a spiky kind of sunward tail, because the dust tail always blows away from the sun.
I'll try to blow out the image.
Would that be called the ion tail, or is that something different?
Usually, ion tail is kind of like is different. This one would be sun. I don't see it, but again, you know, it might be something they're seeing. I don't know, with Hubble or something like that.
Okay.
Is the anti-tail on a comet like saying it has an innie instead of an outie?
It's an opposite facing, yeah. So.
I'm here all week.
All right, let me see if I can get the Iris Nebula. That'd be great cool. If I could.
All right.
All right, thanks, David.
Yeah, I will see you next week.
We'll see you next week.
Bye, Dave.
Take care, Dave.
Yeah.
And of course, Dave handles the amateur astronomy beat for Universe Today. Look at the sunshine again, shining in on you, Corey. All right, let's loot it. Oh, find this.
Yeah, in 20 seconds, I'm gonna go do a meridian flip and switch back over to the other side so I can do the moon. And yeah, we'll see if Uranus can even
Neptune.
Neptune.
Are you gonna try Uranus as well?
It's more fun to say Uranus. But,
yeah, you have to call every planet Uranus.
I don't, man. I would be so impressed if we could see anything with Neptune. If we can do it during the day,
I'll bet you we will. With how good your telescope setup is, and planets are fairly bright, so I'll bet you we'll be able to see it.
The other thing I'm worried about is the fact that I don't know if I'll be able to find it and get it in the view during the daytime like this. Because in the finder scope, it's going to be pretty much invisible.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try. I am going to try. Okay, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go move the scope.
Okay.
So I'm going to, so stand by.
Yeah. No, I don't. Crushing is asking if Dave Dickinson is related to Terrence Dickinson. I don't think so. No, absolutely. Terrence Dickinson's book raised all of us. It was like the most important amateur astronomy book back in the day. Night Watch. I have it right behind me. Oh, I got a bad feeling about trying to see. I may be taking a picture of the wall.
Oh boy.
Yeah. That's not good. Okay. Let me try. I'll know when I see the picture whether or not I get a picture of a wall. I feel like I know what I know the answer is that I'm going to get a picture of a wall. So I'm trying to get a shot of the Iris Nebula. It's like the one nebula that's up right now.
Yeah, it for you. It sits about 32 degrees above the horizon.
20 degrees.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah. So it's a really cool nebula, and it's especially nice in a visual telescope like this, in a color camera like this. But Dan the man, you don't know how many badly I want to make Uranus puns. Do it, man. You can't resist. Can't fight it.
Oh yeah.
Make the puns. So there's planetary nebula NGC 3242, like another little planetary nebula. I can try for that. I know this is gonna fail.
Well, you could try the cat's eye and see if you can get that one.
It's pretty low too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I got a nice. My picture is just like a white field.
Jeez.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll try the Cat's Eye Nebula. It's up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're on object patrol now, Chris.
Yes, I got you. Don't worry. I got you.
All right, let's go fast then.
Okay.
People don't have time. People aren't patient for this. We got to roll.
No, I know.
Yeah. All right, Cat's Eye Nebula. All right, let's move the telescope there. The $15 one time or a monthly thing for what? Oh, for SS6 Plus. Are we done? We're tracking? Okay, and we're pointing away so I can take a picture with the... All right, I'll take a shot. Take the shot. We got the Ghost of Jupiter Nebula.
Right.
So, okay, so where do you want to go after this?
Well, then.
Want to do the sombrero?
I was thinking one of the objects I wanted to try to get, which is called Seffert's Sextant.
Okay.
One of them is actually it's NGC 6027.
NGC 6027. So is this more galaxies?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 6 of them all together in one.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
and it should be up for you because it sits.
So
just a little bit. Yeah, 6027.
6027. All right.
Yeah, and then there's A, B, C, and D. So there's a whole bunch of them all in one big cluster. It's just east of the Hercules cluster.
Okay. Let me try that. Yeah, that should work.
And there's a lot of stuff that I've wanted to get.
See, Corey's moving his telescope against his better judgment. All right. I'll move the telescope there.
Okay.
And I'll bring up this image. Yeah, okay. Which pun to do? Which Uranus? They get, you just get exhausted after a while of Uranus puns.
You do.
That's the problem. Any nice stars with color contrasts? Any stars that you like how they look? That's a tough one.
Well, the beehive is always good. I like the beehive and how the color is for that, but I think that's setting for you now.
Yeah, let's find out.
Well, I might be able to get the beehive.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is the owl.
Yeah, it's going down.
Yeah, I like the owl cluster, but that's not till the summer.
The owl cluster.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's really cool because it looks like it's a sideways owl. And then the 2 bright stars are the eyes. It's really cool.
All right, I should have this in a second.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna see if I can hunt around and find.
All right.
This is gonna be
So
glorious.
sorry. So we got 6543, and so what was I going? Where was I going after that?
So you hit. There was the
6027.
6027. Correct.
Right, okay. All right. I think I'm already tracking. Okay, I'll take my picture.
This is crazy.
The Turtle Nebula. I've never seen that before. Now
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. I think. Okay, I've got it.
Okay.
So this is another little blue blob. So that's that one there. What was that? That's 6543. NGC 6543. And looks like there's like some other little bit of nebulosity nearby. I'm sure if I did a longer exposure, it would, or
Yeah.
built up the image a little better. I got another satellite trail going through the picture.
Nice.
Yeah. How you doing, Corey?
I think this is illegal. I cannot find. I mean, yeah.
Really?
I
You
can't.
feel
I
sick
can't
and
see
wrong?
anything. I mean, the finder scope is basically blank because it's looking at a blue sky.
We haven't done EK is recommending Stevens Quintet. We haven't done that.
Oh, that's a good one. I forgot
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I haven't heard that one in a long time.
Yeah, it's galaxy season, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay,
it's
cool.
Quintet.
We're just gonna go to the moon then because this is.
Yeah, the moon will be fine.
Yeah, I guess if you have to. Stupid moon.
All right.
Oh, that's a nice crescent too.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's gonna be really nice.
That'll be nice. Okay, let's get a better view of it in
The
here.
biggest thing in this universe is Uranus. Nice one, Dan the man. You did it.
It's
Even
the
though
gaseous.
you didn't have it in you, even though you're already losing enthusiasm, in the end, you pulled one out your butt.
You know, yeah. I still like Uranus jokes. I don't know.
Yeah, no, they never get old. No, every
don't.
single time. Like
I like
people ask me how do you pronounce Uranus, and it's just like whatever is the
Yeah.
most hilarious at the time.
I think the correct answer to that question is you can pronounce Uranus however you want.
Yeah.
It's yours.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's bright. Yeah, let's just
Woo.
change that. That's a little too much. Let's do this. And this is using my ridiculous.
Are you back in the infrared mode?
There. Oh yeah. I always was. I haven't ever since it started to get light out. I haven't changed from infrared. So this is infrared of the moon. Now, let's see. Let's give you a decent view here.
Oh. Someone should have warned me that we're staring right down the telescope, the barrel of the telescope.
That's
Oh,
pretty cool.
Yeah.
oh,
So I'm not going to get a shot of the quintet. In fact, that's clearly just looking at the wall. All right, never mind.
So cool though. This moon it's interesting. It looks so much different during the day in infrared than night. I mean, obviously for obvious reasons, but it's just cool. Like it's got this strange texture.
yeah.
About it. Oh, that's an interesting one. Let's see. Okay, we need crater nerds to name stuff.
Yeah, I know. Dave is the best crater nerd that we have, but Yeah.
I can find the basics. Okay, so let's see. We're now looking at the moon for the people on my feed. We're looking at the moon in infrared. We tried to look and find Uranus. Could not
Neptune.
do it.
Neptune.
Yeah.
I
We'll
don't
try
even
that
know.
next time. We'll start with Neptune next time, and then we'll see where we go. That's pretty cool. You can see some of the mare there.
Yeah. I mean, this is still on the bright limb.
And remember, like everyone was watching, like this is the daytime. Like this
Yeah,
is
it's
not.
daytime.
Yeah, this is the day moon.
Yeah. Let's go over. So this is the smooth area. Let's go over to find some cool. Ooh, that's cool. Oops, let's move it that way. Okay, so this is just by looking at it. Oh, this is a very interesting view of Aristarchus. It's like my favorite crater. Such a cool. It's like basically the brightest crater on the moon. It's twice as bright as the rest of the moon when it's illuminated properly. Right in here, this thing is super bright.
That's cool.
And now it's super pixelated.
Yeah, I mean, again, because you're like, if you can see the bright light out behind you there, it's
Yeah.
daytime.
So for the people that maybe can't see it, this is
Wow.
Yeah, like, that's a beautiful shot. That's like maybe the
This
best
is
shot of the night is your.
sun. This is the sunrise on the scope.
Wow.
So I just did this. Oops, sorry about that, Fraser. I want to move the stupid window. Okay. Oh. Well, this is a problem. I have to move this over here now. Okay. Yeah, this is crazy, man, to have the sun on the telescope and imaging or viewing at least. I don't think I'm even going to attempt an image. I could. It'd be interesting. Why not? Right? Let's do my favorite.
Yeah. I mean that the highlight picture of last week was your shot of the moon.
Whoa, the easy one. Is that what you're saying? Okay, let me focus here on this. I'm gonna turn up turn down the gain. Whoa. That's pretty cool though. Okay, now.
There are just no nebulae up right now.
Galaxies, man.
It's
yeah.
all galaxies.
I know.
Just
I
a
can get the
little
Pelican Nebula in another hour.
Hour? Yeah, another hour I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of objects that you could possibly try too.
Sure,
I mean,
I'm just doing the I just finished the sombrero right now.
Nice.
So give me another
I love
target.
Okay, the other one that you could possibly try is the Coma Pinwheel Galaxy. That's M99.
All right.
You could try that one.
Aren't there any good star clusters?
Yeah,
know people
but
get
we took one star cluster. You know, they're all right.
I mean,
People
you could try M92. I mean, I don't know if we got that one earlier or not.
Ooh,
That one sits just west of the Hercules.
I got some wind on this picture of the sombrero.
Oh, boy.
Not my best
Cold.
shot.
It's like morning and it's cold. Sun's coming out for crying out loud.
Fraser, my question is, do you think you could possibly get the antenna galaxies, or is that too low for you?
Let me find out. Yeah, so here's my sombrero. So this is not my best work.
Still pretty good.
No, look, it's a mess. So I will
Let me hang on.
let me take a shot of M99 and I'll come back for another round with sombrero.
Take two.
Yeah. Stack them up.
Yeah, so it's almost 7 o'clock in the morning, my time.
Breakfast.
Yeah, I need to make more coffee. And like, I made my coffee at 3 o'clock this morning when I woke up.
What time did you go to bed?
There's a bird on the scope.
Is there?
Oh man!
Let's see the picture. Can you show us the scope?
Either that or it hovered around it because okay, I'm gonna have to like rewind my live stream later and see because I just looked at the thing and there's like this big black thing on the scope. Like, what is that?
Yeah. People are asking me how long we're gonna run for. Probably like for another like 10, as long as it takes for us to sort of shut everything down now. So we're kind of reached the end of our star party time. Don't worry. Next week, every week that goes by, these objects show, they move another week ahead, and so they come up a little earlier, and they come up a little earlier, and then after a while we'll be begging for galaxies when we're just gorging on nebulae, and then we get Pleiades, and then we get Orion, and all. You just got to just see what we can see when we can see it, because
And there's the veil too.
Oh yeah, the California Nebula and all the Rosette. I mean, all this stuff comes up really nicely with this. That's cool. I think that's your best. That's your shot. Take your data, Corey.
I think so. If I can get it to come back. Come on.
Bye-bye.
Come back. Why is it slewing so much? Jeez, man. Okay, there we go.
All right. I'm going to go back and take another crack at the sombrero because I am not pleased with that.
Yeah, I just looked at that. The wind definitely took it.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is my atmospheric scene conditions are going downhill real fast. Now that the sun is streaming in and hitting the atmosphere, it's like heating everything up. So it's cold on the ground and hot up high, or getting hotter up high because of the sun, and causing all kinds of craziness. So it's gonna get rough for a little while.
So suddenly it's become a bird watching stream.
Yeah, let's watch the scope.
I could pull that off. We have just crazy birds hitting our feeder. We've got some really weird birds have been showing up the last couple of days. So maybe I will do that. I'll just post a bird stream from we've essentially turned our deck into a bird feeder. So we have sometimes 30 birds across our whole deck.
Is this like you're throwing trash out there for the birds?
Yeah, exactly. Well, we call it bird TV. So we've set up our couch right in front of our deck, and then we just sit. My wife and I sit on the we have our coffee in the morning, and it's just birds going crazy right in front of us.
Oh my goodness! Is that when you switch from your night pajamas to your day pajamas?
That's yeah. Sometimes there's no switch. You just constant pajamas, day in, day out.
If you're trying to decide, did I take a shower yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
Remember.
Yeah. Quarantine life.
It's special. I can't get this thing to hold still. I can't find focus enough to like try and take it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the temperatures are changing so fast right now. You don't stand a chance.
It's now that sounds like a dare. When you say that, sounds like a dare.
Yeah. I dare you to battle the atmosphere.
Fraser, I used to move a daub with my bare hands during
I remember.
You can nail this.
All right. Here's your galaxy. This is M99.
That's horrible.
So I'll make M104 my last shot, but
perfect. And then 99 is the Coma pinwheel.
This is the Coma pinwheel.
Yep.
Nice. It's a cute little galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's rad. It looks like it's got like a hair on the top, like a.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it definitely has been in some kind of impact.
Wow, that is very strange.
Yeah.
Irregularly spiraled.
Yeah.
Let's make up some physics that explain that.
It went too close to a supermassive black hole that tore one of its arms off and is now in the process of beating it with it.
I like it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Violent even.
All right. So so I've taken my last picture. I'm waiting for it to download, but I will run through the pictures that we took for the people who maybe just showed up. Let's see. All right. Wow, I got a lot of pictures. So we started the night with M13, the Great Globular Cluster in Hercules, which is, and it was actually still pretty bright out in the sky. Followed up with the supernova, and so that recent supernova. This is that's the supernova there of these 3 stars in a row in the galaxy M61.
Correct. Yep.
And then we've got M101, and we also got a Starlink in our picture. Who's to say if it's actually a Starlink? But
All satellites are Starlink.
yeah. Now all Starlinks, all satellites are Starlinks now.
If they ruin your image, Starlink. Done.
Yeah. But I think that's the shot of the night. That's a good galaxy. For me, anyway.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's such a great galaxy. Such a big shot in the sky. On
your stream, you're the only one that matters. So therefore, if you say it's the best, it is the best.
It is the
That's
best.
Right. That's right.
So here is the Owl Nebula. And that one worked great. I'm pretty happy with that.
Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can actually make this thing happen.
There is M51, the Whirlpool. Again, I'm pretty pleased with this guy. Yeah. That's a cool galaxy. I think this is a...
You've been trying to do this for years, man.
I know.
Control your own telescope. You've always depended on us, to do it, and then...
Yeah, well, I mean, and I would love to not. Like, that's the goal, is for me to not. But, Chris is rained out. Dylan is sunned out. So...
it's our fault. We let you down. We're so sorry.
Yeah, and well,
I know.
This is what it took. What it took was Dustin building these cool robotic telescopes that we can operate. So...
Listen, I haven't been rained out during a single one of our planned star parties. I think the other solution is to move to Africa.
There you go.
There are no clouds in Africa.
At least not right now for me. It is the dry season now, so I'm basically going to have like clear skies almost every night for months.
So there's Markarian's chain, and I think that's the shot of it. Actually, that was the surprising, cool shot of the evening. That one was pretty amazing.
It fit all in there. It's amazing.
Well, it fit like tons of room.
Yeah,
we got lots of room, but yeah, and just I think the stars are like, the focus was good. There wasn't any wiggle from the wind, and you can just see them all there. I really like that. There's the Jupiter's Ghost Nebula. There's the comet Pan-STARRS.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shut down my stream as well, Fraser.
All right. And there's another little planetary nebula.
Because things are just getting...
And that was M99. And then let me take one last shot at the sombrero, if that works.
Hopefully,
yeah. Hopefully it's a little better. It's got a little streaking again, so... This might not be my night for the sombrero.
Come back.
It's better. It's better. Yeah, it's much better. Okay, I take it back. It's just fine. There is the Sombrero Galaxy.
Okay. Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah. Right on. All right. Well, I think, let me see if I can put us all back up on the screen now. I made a mess of my screen. Let's see. I'm going to stop Corey's screen sharing. I'm going to put us in the gallery view. Whoa, that one's Corey's all the way down. Okay, hold on.
There we go.
There we go. All right.
There we go.
So, hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight for the Star Party. That was a lot of fun. And again, we're still figuring this out, getting smoother. It was great to have more color commentary. Week after week, we're just going to keep figuring out ways to make this better. More telescopes, more people, more knowledge, more planning, more weather lasers to try and make the weather better. Lillian is asking if it's going to be a regular thing. That's the plan, is to do these on a regular basis until we don't suck. So that may take us a couple of years. We'll see where we get to. Yeah, we'll come back next week. Hopefully some of these objects that we couldn't quite reach will now be a little higher in the sky. We'll go dig deeper into them. Hopefully get a few more telescopes going. I want to give a big thank you, as always, to Dustin Gibson and the people at Oceanside Photo and Telescope. They let me use this telescope. And so if you are looking for a telescope, any kind of gear, definitely go and check out their options. They're pretty much the top telescope sales company in the world, so they'll have what you need, whatever your budget is. So definitely go and talk to them, and they're really generous to let us use this gear and bring these into the Star Parties. They fixed it. They fixed the Star Parties, and I can't thank them highly enough. I've got a new open space tomorrow, just a live QA with me. If you missed it, I interviewed Lord Martin Rees today, the Astronomer Royal, and that was a good time. So lots more good space stuff coming this week to help you all make it through the quarantine. We'll get through it all together. And Chris, Corey, thank you guys.
Thank you, Fraser.
Pleasure.
All right,
Again.
maybe we'll see some versions of you next week.
Cool. Cheers.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
And that's strange.